University, and he wrote this book with another author, Andrew Minghesa. But I will give you the floor, so it will be a small interview and presentation, and you can also ask questions, of course. But maybe, John, it's better to start with a short introduction about the framework of this book.
All right. Thank you, Professor. Let me begin by expressing first, my sincere appreciation to the organizers of this particular conference and to colleagues at the University of Macerata for creating space where conversations about Afro-descendant identities can unfold in both depth and urgency. It's a particular pleasure for me to be here, and indeed a humbling moment to see this particular book, a comparative reading of Pan-Africanism and Afro-Politanism, come back, Babar, enter into dialogue with this intellectual community. The book emerges from a concern that, in recent years, certain dominant discourses, particularly those clustered around Afro-Politanism, have begun to reframe and in some way dilute the historical and ideological foundations of Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism, as we know, is not merely a theoretical construct, it is a project. It is a political, cultural and historical project that is rooted in struggle, memory, and the insistence on collective identity. And importantly, this is not a claim for rigid or closed identity. Pan-Africanism here is understood not as essentialism, but as historical consciousness. And yet, alongside it, we see the rise of Afro-Politanism, which is fluid, which is mobile, which is cosmopolitan. And Afro-Politanism foregrounds hybridity of the black person in different corners of the world. It foregrounds mobility and cosmopolitanism and global citizenship. So let me be clear at this particular point that this book does not reject Afro-Politanism. It recognizes the descriptive power of Afro-Politanism in capturing contemporary mobility and hybridity. So the concern rather is what happens when this fluidity that is espoused by Afro-Politanism begins to obscure enduring structures of inequality. So this book does not approach these two paradigms, Pan-Africanism and Afro-Politanism, as enemies. Rather, it stages a conversation between the two, sometimes uneasy, sometimes productive, but always necessary dialogue. So what we are attempting in this particular work is to interrogate how these two frameworks, Pan-Africanism and Afro-Politanism, speak to each other, how they overlap, how they diverge, and at times fundamentally contradict each other. So methodologically, the book takes what I would call an expansive approach. We move beyond conventional literary analysis to engage with novels, folklore, songs, film, and even social media spaces. So because contemporary African and diasporic the identities are not produced in a single site, they are negotiated across multiple cultural and mediated terrains. At the heart of this particular book lies a central question. What exactly is at stake when a historically grounded, collective, and politically charged identity espoused by Pan-Africanism begins to give way to a more fluid, individualized, and globally oriented one. Or to put it differently, what happens when rootedness encounters mobility, when memory encounters movement, when the call of home meets the seduction of the world. This is not a question of choosing between the past and the present, because we're dealing with two different paradigms. One could be steeped in the past, one is focused on what the future should be like for the black person. It is a question of whether movement can meaningfully occur without memory, and perhaps even more provocatively, can you speak of a global belonging without first reckoning with historical displacement? So the book does not offer a simplistic resolution. Instead, it insists on complexity. It recognizes that Afropolitanism opens important spaces of negotiation, of hybridity, of new forms of being. But it also cautions, the book also cautions against the premature, abandon